You're sat alone with a glass of wine in hand and decide to jokingly toast the Greek god Dionysus. You did not expect him to appear before you in human form, create 2 bottles of wine, and take a seat next to you. I was nursing a glass of cheap Merlot, the kind that leaves a bitter aftertaste and stains your teeth. It was one of those nights where the silence felt heavier than the weight of my regrets. I glanced around my dimly lit apartment, cluttered with empty bottles that had become my companions, and raised my glass in a mock toast. To Dionysus, bring me some real wine! I laughed softly, thinking it was the wine talking. Then everything shifted. The air around me thickened, buzzing with a strange electricity. I squinted, half expecting my mind to play tricks on me. But there he was, Dionysus, in all his intoxicating glory, materializing from a smoky haze that seemed to ripple through the room. His long hair flowed like golden vines, and his eyes sparkled with a mischief that sent a shiver down my spine. "Did someone call?" he asked, his voice smooth as silk, yet it vibrated with an ancient power. I blinked, convinced I had consumed far too much, but the reality stood before me, sharp and clear. This wasn't a drunken hallucination. It was the god of wine himself. Just kidding," I stammered, my heart racing. I almost spilled my Merlot in the chaos of disbelief. He chuckled, lifting his hand with a flourish, and suddenly 2 bottles of wine appeared on the table between us, their labels popping with color and design that seemed alive. "Let's not waste time with pleasantries," he said, leaning closer, the aroma of rich grapes swirling around him. "You're in need of something stronger than that." He gestured toward the cheap Merlot, a smirk playing on his lips. I eyed the bottles, a part of me craving the experience, and another part screaming that I should run. But curiosity was a fierce beast, gnawing at my insides. "What's in it for you?" I dared to ask, trying to regain some semblance of composure. He leaned back, his gaze penetrating. "You've already summoned me, my friend. I'm here to remind you of the joy you've forgotten in the sorrow of your mundane life." His smile widened, revealing a depth that held centuries of revelry and tragedy. With a flick of his wrist, he poured a glass of deep crimson nectar, and I felt the world tilt. A sensation of liberation surged through me, as if the weight of my past was being lifted. I took a sip, and the flavor exploded on my palate, rich and vibrant, infusing my blood with warmth. I gasped, half expecting to be struck down by divine intoxication, but it was a sweet release. "See how easy it is to escape?" he asked, his voice low and tempting. "What holds you back from joy?" I opened my mouth, but words failed me. I saw fragments of my life, the missed chances, the buried dreams. Dionysus studied me, waiting, the air thick with the heaviness of unspoken truths. I felt the walls around my heart start to crack, and for a moment it felt like liberation was within reach. But a flicker of doubt surged within me. "What if I lose control?" I murmured, heart racing with the thrill and fear of the unknown. His laughter echoed, rich and heartfelt. But what's life without a little chaos? Embrace it." He raised his glass, waiting for me to join him. And in that moment, I realized the twist of fate was not in the wine or the god beside me, but within myself. Maybe it was time to stop toasting to the past and start living in the present. With the determined clink of our glasses, I felt it, a surge of power. The night was still young, and the world shimmered with possibilities. "Cheers," I whispered, feeling the freedom within me rise like a tide. And that's when I truly understood. Sometimes it takes a god to remind you that life is meant to be savored, not simply consumed.